Okay. Coach, you wanted to start with an overall thought on?
Yeah, we, this is the second signing day. It's weird how this used to be like a huge day, but now with the early signing period, it kind of loses a little bit of its luster, but it's just kind of part two, I guess, is how it goes anymore. And, a lot of teams are signing a lot more guys in the early period, and today's really just to kind of, finish off some of your needs. But we signed close to about, I think, 7 or 8 the first time around, and close to 10, 11 this time around. So about even on the deal right there. We focused mainly back in January or back in December on some mid-year signees to get some kids up in the school here now. And then once we got that taken care of, we really honed in on some of the high school guys. So we addressed our needs as a team. Obviously, quarterback, offensive line, specifically offensive tackles, specifically older offensive tackles that are going to have to play some next year, and we addressed our needs at the cornerback position. We thought we did well in state. We signed, as I look at it, 8, 9 from the state of Idaho, signed 4 from the east side of the state, and the 4 that we thought were Big Sky players, and we did well out in Boise with a couple of guys. So kind of fired up about that. So coaches did a great job of identifying players, identifying, sticking within our needs, what we needed to do to get the team better, and so we're excited about the class.
I guess the big question is Tyler Vander Waal. Why is he the guy for you?
We were looking for a quarterback with some experience, specifically some Division I experience. And when Tyler got into the portal, we contacted him and started to establish a relationship with him. And really, he felt very comfortable with who we were, who we are. We had a young man that was a captain for us, Christian McFarland, from the Sacramento area, that knew him to begin with, and Tyler had talked to Christian quite a bit about what was going on out here, and so he possesses the skills, the mindset that we need, the skills, and it's going to be exciting to watch him progress.
What do you feel is the strength of this class?
Strength of this class, we've signed some very good, I feel, some good cornerbacks that we need. A couple JC guys and a high school kid, Josh Alford, that was first team All-CIF on a team. We were looking at his team and St. John Bosco team that won state championship. They had 17 Division I scholarship offers, and there was like 4 to go to UCLA and 3 to USC, Ohio State, Clemson, and we had him in that class, and we think that's a hidden gem. Cam Yancey did a great job recruiting him, so I like that. Like the fact, like I said, I like our offensive line. What we came out of there. There's a kid we signed, Tyler Clemens, back in the early period, who had a trip and an offer from Liberty that decided to stay on our side. And then Sam Tapia, big offensive tackle, who looks very similar statue-wise as a young man we had here, Brian Finianganofo. And Sam had a UTEP offer, which was nice that we got him here. Jaden Dawson, a corner from Mount San Jacinto that we signed back on the early period, but we didn't announce him till now because he enrolled in January, but he didn't sign till after. Long story. JC period goes a little bit longer. So Jaden Dawson had an offer from UNLV early, and then had a Western Illinois offer, and didn't want to go all the way out to Macomb. Wanted to stay close, and even down when I was at the coaches convention in January, had a couple coaches, more than one, come up to me and go, "Hey, you signed the Dawson kid, didn't you?" And we're like, "Yeah." They're like, "Wow, that's a good get." So anytime guys are talking about that, that's a good thing. So like I said, I like where we signed with our corners and with our offensive line, and I liked what we got with our quarterback with Tyler.
To me, watching on Twitter, it seems like a lot of these kids kind of came together late in the last couple of days. They were announcing. Is that accurate? And sort of, were you confident that you would get those guys?
We knew we had them. There was a lot of kids committed, but said they didn't want to say anything. And so, yeah, that's how. So it seems like there was a big mad scramble at the end, but we knew what we had going in, but it was just one of those things where they had said they committed and were in, but they don't want to make a big announcement or anything out of it yet, and just we can't say anything anyways.
Sure.
So we kind of knew what we had and where we were, and everything worked out really well.
The big group of Rocky Mountain guys, I mean, sort of how did that come together, and what can you say about those guys?
Roger Cooper goes out there and does a great job. Scott Kreiner's a coach I've known for a long time, going back to his days. I believe he was at Portland State when I was at Cal State Northridge. So there's a relationship there. But the kid from Curitan was a big get. The other school in the state was really hounding him, and he decided he wanted to come be a Bengal. And then between Jacob and T-Loy's going to go on a mission, and so he'll be in 2 years. But Jacob Piscone was a kid that was here at summer camp this year, and he was always itching to be a Bengal. He liked it, likes everyone here. He's fired up, so it's good, and that's really good. Obviously a lot of good programs out there in the Boise area, but it's a good program to get kids from.
And the local kid, Jaden Belle, I know Weber was after him, and some other Big Sky schools. How'd you get him here?
One thing about Jaden Belle is, the whole time was his dad was saying, I don't want you to give, he's a legacy. His dad played here. And his dad said the whole time, I don't want you guys to give him a scholarship because of me. And we told him that was never the case. We offered Jaden way back early and let the recruiting process play out. We didn't pressure him. We said we're always going to be here for you, and he went through the whole process and looked at everybody, and there's 2 schools in this conference that offered him that we got him. So, and Jaden, what a nice young man that he said he came up to me during his official visit on Saturday. On the Saturday he was here, and he shook my hand, looked at me, he goes, "Thank you very much for having me here." And that says a lot about a young man to say that on a visit. And he committed shortly after that. Despite there's an intense amount of pressure from other schools from him, but he stuck with us. And so we were his first offer, and we never pressured him. We didn't pressure him on the early signing period, and just said, "Here, let this play out." We felt comfortable with what we have and who we are, and that's why it's exciting to get a player like him. Now he's going to go on he's going to serve his mission, which is fine, but we'll be waiting for him when he gets back. That'll be great.
Jaden Waal.
Jaden Waal, yeah.
Okay. Another FBS drop-down guy today, the Oregon State tight end Isaiah Smalls. When did you hear about him, and how long have you been chasing him, and what are you expecting?
We've been on him since December, since he got in the portal, and we were just kind of getting things organized to get him in here. Cam Yancey, with his connections at Oregon State, had got that done, and so Isaiah transferred out of Oregon State at the semester, and he's taking classes in Southern California, and he's gonna he was either gonna go to junior college or transfer here, and so he signed with us, so he'll be good to go.
So he'll be here in the fall?
Yes, he'll be here in the fall.
Okay.
How much of these guys do you anticipate will play early on? How much of an impact do you think these guys will make?
Well, there's some obvious. You sign mid-year junior college players with the intent of not sitting them. You're not bringing them in to sit. You're not bringing them in to slow cook. These guys are going to be microwaved. Tapia at tackle, Dawson at corner, Cam Davis the other corner, obviously Vander Waal. These guys are going to have to. They're expected to come in and hit the ground running. So. And as I go down the list here, even potentially some of the couple of the return missionaries, between Brian Lexington, who was Gatorade Player of the Year, 3A, when he was here, he's more mature right now, and he could be a lot like Josh Crane was last year, where he's going to come in and see a considerable amount of time. So there's some guys that we're expecting. Tyler Clemens, we're the other one, offensive lineman out of Diablo Valley. We're expecting to get some, as we like to say, get some blood out of them.
expanding on that a little bit further, I mean, are there any of the high school kids who you think maybe could be able to play in the fall?
That's, that remains to be seen. It's not the easiest thing. We didn't know Malachi Rango was really going to play a whole bunch for us until partway through the season. But that's the beauty of the 4-game redshirt rule. You can throw them in there and see how they're going to do. And a young man like Xavier Guillory, he was at the Air Force Prep last year. He's still a high school guy because Air Force Prep doesn't count for anything. So maybe him, but it's tougher with high school kids to get going. So hopefully we'd be in a position where we didn't have to play them. That means you're doing everything right. But if they're good enough and they can contribute, yeah, they're gonna play.
Talked a little bit earlier about a lot of those Treasure Valley, Boise area guys. How much of a battleground has that Treasure Valley area became, especially between you and Idaho, as you guys fight for the best Big Sky level guys?
Yeah, what's funny is since for the last 3 years, when we started hitting that area really hard, all of a sudden everybody else has. There's been, my first year back here, we could go in there and kind of, but all of a sudden they see Idaho State offering people. It's like, well, wait a minute, and so you got a bunch of other Big Sky schools going through there. So yeah, it turns into a little bit of a battle. And the thing that's good is that helps the whole area. So, on one hand, we're having to fight a little bit to get kids out of there, but on the other hand, it gives everybody more opportunities, and but like I said, I think we lost to Big Sky schools down here, not up in the Sandpoint and Coeur d'Alene area, but down here, I think we lost 2 kids and we signed 9. So that's a pretty good ratio. I think we're doing a good job. We're kind of building the wall around the area, and that's what we want to do, recruitment. We want to, and my line to these kids is, we want to build Idaho State football with state Idaho players, and that's what we're working on.
Rashad Owens, you announced him as a running back rather than a linebacker, which surprised me a little bit. Is that the plan, and was that just because of the depth on your team?
No, RJ, and he prefers RJ.
Okay.
Coach Mike Ferreter corrected me on that. He
Okay.
Call him a shot, it's RJ, so I got it. So, RJ Owens is an interesting guy. Great player on a not so great team, and he's the best player on the Corona team. And Mike brought me, when we watched his film back in the spring, he said, look at this guy and tell me what he is. And sometimes you got to project a guy into a different position. You look at him and, well, he's not quite a linebacker, and there's like 4 clips on his film of him playing running back, but you see him running around and hitting and doing stuff at linebacker. So he's saying, what do you see this guy as? And I looked and I said, and there's one of them running the Wildcat formation. I said, well, he's not a quarterback, okay, Mike? He goes, no, but look at him. He goes, and he said running back. And so that's what we presented to RJ. Is like, hey, we've seen you, play enough running back that you have the skill set that's where we're gonna put you at. It's kind of the opposite of player we had here, Mario Jenkins. He came in as a running back, ended up being an all Big Sky linebacker, where RJ played primarily linebacker, but he's gonna go in the running back room for us.
You brought in another high school quarterback this year. I mean, you're one kid out of Wyoming this year.
Yeah, Hunter's dad. He's in the Hall of Fame here, is he not? Josh Hayes. And yep, he's going to come in, and obviously he's going to slow cook. But great dad. Love the kid. But on official visits, his dad. I've been doing this 30 years now. His dad's like one of the top 3 all-time coolest dudes on an official visit. I mean, just the way, just a great guy, and he was just happy that we were giving Hunter an opportunity.
And then we talked about most everybody else. Jack O'Connor out of California, just another developmental guy.
Yeah, I mean, it says 240, but he's more close to about 255. But yeah, but the thing with him, big long body, which we needed some length at our offensive line. We have a bunch of centers and guards. We need tackles, and yeah, he's going to be a slow cooker. And he's a guy that from day one when we offered him, he was like chomping at the bit to get here. And so nice young man, great family. Went to his house, and his mom had an incredible Italian spread that I rolled out of the house and I almost fell asleep on the way home. I mean, it was unbelievable. That's another story. But a great cook, great family. But yeah, a young man that he wants to be here at Idaho State. Not that none of these guys don't, but he was killing me on Twitter about when's my visit, when's this, when's that, So you want a guy like that.
When you're out recruiting, what is the pitch that you make about Idaho State that kind of resonates the most with the kids? What's the thing that you're selling to them that they get most excited about?
What I like to tell them is what Idaho State is. You're going to come here and get a great education. Okay, first and foremost, you're a student athlete. You're in college. Okay, you're going to play good football in the best 1AA conference in America. Okay, the Big Skies is tantamount to the SEC or whatever in 1A. Okay, and so you can play great football. All right, you're gonna establish relationships for the rest of your life. Those are the things that I sell the fact that you're a big fish in a small pond here, and we're not a big party school. We're a place where it's a safe, great environment. Like I said, come and concentrate on those things and not have a lot of distractions. And so the final thing that I like to sell is our staff. Our staff is so family oriented. We have a dinner on Saturday night with the recruits where the families all come, and we have a bunch of ankle biters running around. Our whole staff is got a whole bunch of little kids, and everyone walks out of there going, man, it's a great family atmosphere, and the coaches all get along, and I think that's important.
Are you guys done now, or are you?
There may be one or two more, but yeah, we're primarily done, and we're going to start moving forward with. We're already started. We started last week, a couple weeks ago on next year's class. I'm looking at the juniors already.
Yeah.
You have to do that. Recruiting's been pushed back so much now. It's unbelievable. So it used to be, after signing day, okay, now you're going to start formulating your junior list, but we're already on that. So you got to be. It's funny. You're already thinking about class of 2021.
High schooler transfers, do you think, if you have a couple more?
For this class?
Yeah.
High school, I think we're probably pretty much done with older people, but we're still, there may be a few more high school guys out there.
Okay. I know Keegan Thompson, and you mentioned Nawaheen and Jaden Belle are taking missions.
Those are the three.
And nobody else?
No one else at this point, no. And I wish Keegan was coming in, but you know what, Keegan did a great job in recruiting, talking with a lot of guys, and him jumping in was a big get, and I'm excited to have between him and Lexington, wasn't I guess Bolt was Gatorade Player of the Year, wasn't he? But
yeah.
But Keegan was Offensive Player of the Year, or however that works out, and he's another one that I would be remiss not to mention, because I was back in December, but he's as big of a get in this recruiting class as anybody, and guy took his team to a state championship. That's a big deal.
Presumably he helped you get Fredrickson, who you guys just announced today.
Yeah, that was they came in and visited together. That's kind of the plan. But and Fredrickson's gonna nice big another long body at receiver. I like the receivers to look like a basketball team, and he fits that bill. So.
I guess he's a walk-on, and Kamaya Olson's a walk-on. Any other of these guys?
Non-scholarship players, yeah. You can go through Hunter, Kamaya, obviously, but we don't treat them. Like I said, they're granted all the rights and privileges of.
Sure.
Nothing changes. Fredrickson, yeah, they help. They're gonna help contribute though. So.
The situation with Daniel Koloka, did he sign a letter of intent with you guys?
He signed a letter of intent and then wanted to get out of it, which is fine with us, because he didn't. We signed him with the understanding that he would pass our department imposed academic standards, and it was easier just to kind of cut him loose with that. So that was one less worry from that standpoint.
So you granted his release?
Yes.
Okay.
Good.
Rob, last year and the year before on this day, you went through the same process, talking about guys that you've recruited. How happy are you with those two classes and what's coming up?
Shoot, I'm trying to. That's a hard question right now, because I don't have that like stamped into my head. I'd have
That
to
is
go.
a pretty good thing.
I'd have to go down and look through our roster and see. But I'm happy with the way we've developed, the way we have developed along with the football, with Dan Ryan in the weight room and all that stuff. And I think with this class, moving forward, and we keep getting better, bigger, and stronger.
Rasheed Williams got an extra year.
Yes, he'll be back, which is good. So he had 2 years of injury, and that was a good thing. We're fired up to have him back. Get a full year out of him. We'll see.
Good.
Good.
Thanks.